Hey, truth seekers and YouTubers. This is Nurse J at Nursing the Truth, and excuse me for today. I'm a little bit under the weather. My voice is a little bit strained, so just please stick with me, guys. Even though I'm a little bit under the weather, that does not prevent me from telling you the truth. So, what am I going to bring to you today? Well, Josephus and Paul, the Apostle Paul, the Saul from Tarsus that had a blinding lightning rod hit him, ha ha, and he had a conversion. Well, what conversion was that? Was that a Josephus conversion? Was it the Roman writers of the day giving us this BS of a book that took from Josephus's works? Or was the Piso family intertwining the works? So, months ago, when I started researching Josephus's Antiquities of the Jews and the Roman and Jew War, it is a must, and it is imperative that you read those books, my true seekers. Because as I was reading his books, I'm like, wait a minute. This is just like Paul. How can the same thing that Paul did go hand in hand with Josephus? But Josephus never talks about Paul. When you find this Paul, let me know, because I've already told you there's not one. The real, quote, Saul was in the writings of Josephus, and he had a brother named Costobarus, and they were Herodians, and they were kin to King Agrippa, and they would round up these people, these Jews, and they would kill them. Plain and simple. In the back of Josephus's Antiquities of the Jews book, it will say Saul, the ringleader of the Jews. And what do they call this Paul? The ringleader. So don't get me started. Read the book. So, let's get some Jewish and historical balance about the shipwreck of Paul. Paul was not the only Jew sailing to Rome who suffered a shipwreck, my friends. Let's compare the historian Josephus Titus Flavius' description of his own voyage in his book called Vita, Life. And Josephus states out of his own mouth, "But when I was in my 26th year of my age, it happened that I took a voyage to Rome, and this on the occasion which I shall now describe, at the time when Felix was procurator of Judea. There were certain priests of my acquaintance, and very excellent persons they were, whom on a small and trifling occasion he had put into bonds and sent to Rome to plead their cause before Caesar. These I was delirious to procure deliverance for, and that especially because I was informed that they were not unmindful of piety towards God, even under their afflictions, but supported themselves with figs and nuts. Accordingly, I came to Rome, though a great number of hazards by sea, for as our ship was drowned in the Adriatic Sea, we that were in it, being about 600 in number, swam for our lives all night. When upon the first appearance of the day, and upon our sight of a ship of Cyrene, I and others, 80 in all, by God's providence, prevented the rest, and were taken up into the other ship. And when I had thus escaped, and was come to Decaria, which the Italians called Puteoli. Now, interesting to compare the length and style of the two accounts. The historian's accounts makes the Acts story read like something straight out of a Hellenistic novel by comparison. But enough has been said on that. Now, the author states. There are at least 12 coincidences of content between the two. This made man Paul and the real life Josephus. His article in the Vita Apologetica, The Lives of Josephus and Paul, an apologetic historiography. The main difference is that Josephus is traveling to Rome on behalf of God-fearing priests who have been unjustly accused and forced to plead their case before Caesar. Now, a Roman, number one, this is the comparison. A Roman procurator, Felix, is involved in both accounts. Acts 24, 1 through 27. 2. Jewish religious leaders are involved in both accounts. Priest in Vita and Paul in Acts. 3. Felix causes Jewish religious leaders to be imprisoned. Acts 24, 1 through 27. 4. Felix's actions result in prisoners going to Rome. Acts 25, 10 and 11. 5. The Jewish religious leaders are unjustly accused. Acts 24 through 26. Journey to Rome is by ship. Acts 27, 1 through 44. Number 7. The sea journey to Rome seeks to effect justice at the imperial level to undo justice done at the provincial level. Acts 24 through 27. Number 8. The ship not only sinks. Acts 27, 41 through 44. But chooses to sink in the Adriatic Sea. Acts 27 and 27. Number 10. The heroes Josephus or Paul act with courage and provide leadership. Acts 27, 31 through 38. All passengers survive, presumably, in Josephus' account, Acts 27, 44. Number 12. Both heroes pass through Puteoli. Acts 28, 13 through 14. How much clearer does it have to be presented? The list can go on and on. These are the comparisons, some of them. What by chance is Josephus and the same Apostle Paul going to be on a ship and it wrecks and they swim all night in the Adriatic Sea, both of them? And then, on top of that, both heroes pass through Puteoli. So, let's think about this. If Apostle Paul is going to be shipwrecked in the Adriatic Sea and swimming all night for his life, and then passes through Petulii. Don't you think that Josephus would have wrote about him? Don't you think they would have known each other? Both Jews? Both Pharisees? Wouldn't it be, hey brother, hey Pharisee, dude, we made it, my brother, we swam all night together, and we're the heroes of the day. Don't you think, by one chance, that Josephus would have wrote about Paul? No, because Paul is a phantom ghost. Paul is a shortened version of Apollo, Pol, P-O-L, which is sun, and Paul in the Latin version, English. It's a phantom. Snap out of it. Nurse J is here to help you and nurse you back. I even tried to show this to my husband months ago, and he did not want to hear it. You see, some of us have cognitive dissonance, where you can actually bring proof to someone, have it out, pictures, all the credible witnesses, all the credible historians, and they will look at it and still say it is a lie. They cannot process the information. Pope Leo X said, wow, how much we have made off the fable of Christ. You see, there was a historian that used to be a Catholic that turned Protestant, and I want to say his name was Christopher Bell or Christopher Hale. I want to say it was Bell, B-A-L-E. Could be related to Christian Bell. Who knows? Probably it is. And this historian lived in Kent, which my ancestry is from Kent, England. And when he was with the Catholics, he had attended a lot of the, I guess, what you call parties, eating, feast, whatever the hell they do. And he said that Pope Leo had said this. And the historian even wrote it in one of his books, his autobiography. And displayed all the indespicable acts that these priests and cardinals and deacons do. Nothing has changed. The apple doesn't fall far from the trees. It is still going on today, this lie. And behind the scenes, eating and drinking and getting drunk and stuffing little children's mouth with apples and gagging them and feasting and roasting them like pigs over a fire. This is who you kiss. Her hand with the ring. And I will no longer listen to that menagerie. When you have solid proof, it doesn't take an idiot to put the two together and go, we have a problem. Let me iterate that again. There was no real Apostle Paul. There was a real Saul that was a Herodian, had a brother, had a son, and he killed Jews with his brother. This is a fabricated story. This is very serious because Christianity is, quote unquote, based on Apostle Paul. The real Paul is Apollonius of Tyana, the Gnostic, the one that knows that Christ is within us. Traveled to India, set up churches in Ephesus, and fought the wild beast of Ephesus. Go read Philostratus. His scribe Damas wrote down and traveled with Apollonius, and they wrote about him. They have statues and busts still of him today that are in the museums. Do you see a statue of Apostle Paul, except this bullshit that's in the Vatican? The only thing that you're going to see Apostle Paul is paintings by the church. Whether it be done by Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, the Four Turtles. So, why don't you check that out? You will be amazed at what you find. One book turns to another. One video turns to another. One person turns to another. You might learn different things from different people. And you might have stumbled on my channel today and you're going, I have never heard this in my entire life. Well, I started searching 3 years ago. I knew something was funny. My enlightenment process started. Don't worry about it. You're okay. You're out of the bird box. Don't let anyone tell you you're going to hell, because there is no hell. We are photons of light, tetrahedrons, and we will keep living. Energy does not die. You could not destroy an atom. How can you destroy an atom? You cannot. We are of the elements and the trace elements of the earth, and yes, we will go back to dust, these vehicles that we're in. But what is running this vehicle is the light that is inside the vehicle, the photon. And when it's time to go and all of the energy is finished, then we will go into another vehicle. So until then, truth seekers, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Tell your friends and family about me. Please. Please. I love questions. I love to answer them. Get with me, you know. I don't have a problem. If there's books that you want me to tell you to find things, let me know. Until then, Hotep and Ashe, and God Thoth loves you. Keep searching for the light, my friends. Goodbye.